My name is Virginia Stoymenoff, and we're here today at Macedonian Place in the Historical Society Library. And we're here with Costa, Constantine, and today is Thursday, June 23rd. Welcome, Costa.
Thank you.
Costa, tell us a little bit about your early life. First of all, let's start where you were. What year were you born and where?
I born 1920, May 22, in the little village in beautiful, it's in the center of the Florina Valley. We call it Kalenik in Macedonia. And I grew there. 5 years old, I went to the Greek kindergarten. 1 year. And then 6 years public school, and 2 years like agricultural school, you know. I finished the school. When I finished the school, I was about 18, something like this. I missed a couple of years, you know. I didn't go to school because, I don't know, they didn't send me. And then when the agricultural school opened, I went to the agricultural school, I finished. And then the Greek gave me a job. They pay me 1,100 drachmas a month.
Is that a lot of money?
Oh, it was not bad for youngster. For me, you know, I used to buy house, suit and everything, shoes, you know. I was so happy until the Second World War.
Well, let's go back, way back to the beginning again.
Okay.
First of all, who were your mother and father?
My mother, Fila, and my father named Risto.
Risto, как се вика последното име?
Тие се вика, последното име му беше старото име Малкови. Ристо Малков. Ристо Малков. И родени се во село Руля, Костовска околја. И тамо они направија фамилија, татко мој бил тука во Америка. 3-4 години.
Кой беше тук?
Мојо родител, татко.
Oh, your father, okay.
My father. Тука беше во Америка 1905. 1908 се врати назад. Во Македонија. Од Руля се иселија во Каленик. И името Малкови, кога се роди 4 синои и 2 керки имаше татко. Кога се роди првиот син Никола, баба оде да го регистрира на коджобашијата, тога во селото и регистрираа бебината. И му вели коджобашијата го викале Трајко.
This was under Turkish time.
Under Turkish time, 1901. И коджобашијата му вика да ти е живо внучето, Котејце. Константин го вика, Коте на Кусо. И кате го викат Никола Константин на Ристо. Кој му вели, но, то Никола Константин Малков. Ами, Никола Малков, татко тоа сме Ристо. И се карае таму, фајнали, кој ексепта. Го ченча името од Малкови, почнае деца да се родве, баба земе го и регистрира го, остана името Константин, тоа не е наше име, не е грчко. Константин, не Константину, грчите ни го направија после. Го направија по Грчија. И после, разбереш, така останам ние со тоа име. И омсете татко, кога се врати од Америка, од тука, донесе колку пари донесе, купи во полето, во валеито, 5 decars. 5 decar farm. You know? 5 decars, about 10-12 acre Canadian. You know? And then, na 8 година, 9-та, се иселија цела фамилија од Руля у Леринската околја, во новото село Каленик. This is the story. The town.
So you had how many brothers and how many sisters?
4 brothers, two sisters.
And where are you in that line?
I am the last of the brothers, the younger, and younger than me is a sister. She lives in the United States. The other sister is older than me. She lives here in Toronto.
You want to give us the names of your brothers and sisters?
Oh yeah, the first, the older, Nicola, passed away in Australia about 5-6 years ago. Okay.
And he was born in 1901.
1901. The other brother born 1906.
And what was his name?
His name was Georgie. And we lost him in the Second World War, partisan against the German and the Italian. You know, he fell on one battle there in the city of Costa, and the other brother, Louis, is still living in Australia today. He's alive. He born in 1909. And my other sister, well, she lives here, the first, like, you know, the older sister, she born 1913. She lives here in Toronto, in East York, no, Scarborough, somewhere, I know. And the other sister lives now in Florida, United States. She's got 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl.
And you were born in 1920?
20.
Yeah, so you're one of the very youngest.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of the brothers. I got a younger sister than me, 3 years younger.
So while you were, tell us a little bit more about the way your village was.
The village is 10 kilometers east, till north, east-north, not exactly, but from the city Florina.
You mean
Lerinsko. And 23 kilometers from the city Bitola. And from the border of the Republic of Macedonia today, the village is, if you go straight, is about 4 kilometers. And running, the village is in such a good place. All the rivers, 15, 20 rivers, comes from the mountain, out from the Lerinsko Valley. They come together west of the village, and they pass the last river. All the rivers goes and through close to the village. One river goes from Boof, right from the village. The big river is about 60, 50, 60, 70 meter wide.
Oh, that's big.
Oh yeah, it's big, you know. The village is a very rich village, soil, you know, anything.
And that village grew produce for the rest of the area?
The village grow anything you like, you know, you want to grow. The village is, the ground is rich, you can grow. You can grow corn, wheat, you can have apple trees, anything.
What was on your farm?
My farm was apple trees we had, you know, and wheat, barley and corn.
And your whole family
Whole
worked
family
on
was
work?
working over there.
And what kind of house did you have? Tell us about your house and how many rooms.
The house was 6 rooms.
2-story?
6-room, 2-story house. The 2 center rooms was a little one, but still, you know, was able to live. I used to live in the one, even when I get married with my wife, we used to live for a while in the lower room. Because we were like youngsters, the bigger brothers occupied the bigger rooms, you know. And it was a nice house. My father built it with my brother's partisan. He felt partisan that time, you know. The house was built, a new house. We had old house before, a shack. And then the house now is about He 60, 70 years old, and still standing very beautiful today, because I got a niece there, she take care of it.
Costa, ти каза татко ти го направи куйката. Your father built the house. Tell us a little bit about your father.
Okay. My father, when he was 14 years old, the company was building houses south in Greece. And they took him, young boy, there to help them. 4 years he worked there. He learned the Greek language and learned the Greek alphabet, reading and writing.
Do you remember what year this would be? What year would he
Well,
was 14?
my father,
What year was he born? Do you remember?
maybe 1880 something, somewhere.
Okay,
Those
so it would
years.
still be before
Oh, Turkish.
before 1900. this
Greece
was, I
was
think.
a free country,
Mhm.
but not Macedonia, you know.
Mhm.
It was going, to make money, the child, we call it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then he came back. He speak Greek a little bit, and a lot of times he was singing in the church, my father, because a lot of people in the Greek occupied Macedonia, nobody speak in the villages there Greek. And my father, and then my father was helping in the church, my wife's father, because he was singing in the church. My wife's Angie's father and grandfather. И седнемо таму татко, капорасти, шо прави, татко му се заборджил пари, много пари, 50-100 наполеони. И той шо направи? Почна трговија да прави. Купи една мучка, мюл,
Oh, yeah.
И отиде во Албанија, купаше, ја товарваше со all kind of small things за жените, прстени, работи, све, и продаваше по Костутската околија, Преспа. И плати тие, кај плати борџо, и сетне дојде во Америка. Дојде во Америка тука, во Америка или во Канада. I think во Америка, во Детройт, во Чикаго, somewhere, тамо овде тој. И работа 4 години, собра пари и се врати назад. Си дојде опet во Македонија и па во селото Руля, где беше роден.
He left 1904 and came back 1908.
That's right. И се шо претро пари донесе во Руля, планинско село. Нема живот. Диви луѓе, како Раки Маунтен е тоа. И отамо со други два first cousins, решија да избегат од Руля, да слезат по полето, да живеат, да купат со тие пари. Другите двата први брачеви купија Стриконестор и Стриконал. Во Прилепско купија стока. Убаво место, татко не сакаше многу далеко беше. 100 мајли од Руля. И он дојде купи, турско беше уште. Он го купи, да речеме, земјата Чифлик, шо велел, го купи во 10 километра до Лерен. И тамо се исели цела фамилија во Лерен. И тамо живееме ние од 50 декари, 4 декари и е 1 екар, не е толку голем се тема речисе, од 50 мајка, која се жена, тоа е во Руля, која си дојде од Америка, се жена за Фила Стефова на Ламбро. И си дојдоа таму во Кален, таму живеа и со работаја со тоа, полето убаво, стока, работи, разбраш, тие 50, доста безен фармер таму. Потроа, со економија, со све и направија 160 декари. 160 декари. Значи 35-40 екарс. И така, значи, сетне дојде на 38 година. Татко живеше много добро. И ние живееме први во селото. Со све имаме да си купиме целина, јадење, пиење, леп, како земјоделци. И старото село што беше, Рубля, где живеше татко, имаше продадено една нива. Там имаше ниве души стоја. И ја продаде на нива на еден тамо го вика Миле. Миле Ничов, сам си гледат. Ја продаде таа нивата и после, по 15-17 години, таа нивата таму беше на пато, говедата, врвеа, газало. И таму врват и се прави трапчеги, но? И таму се најде, излезе една касетинка, отидова, тој Стопан отиде, го викме и полја кој ја откопаја, и најдова во натре во таа касата беше фрлена од турско, од кумитите, од турците, кој знае, you know, некои 3-4 илјади патрони.
Holy cow. That's amazing.
И оттаму чиева нива на Милета, моја е. Ти каде тоа, но. Од кај ја купи, од кој ја купи нивата ти? И он му веле, јас ја купи од Ристо Малков. А Ристо Малков во Калник, 36 км далеко од
Кога се најде тоа?
Ова се најде 38 година.
Јас мислам се најде кога още ти живееше.
Сега, 38 година. И дојдове полицијата во селото. Во нашето село немаме општина. Имаме полиција во другото село. И дојдоа тие полисманите, го знаеа Ристо, разбереш. Имаме едно лажовно име тамо, по лажовото име го знаеа. И дојдоа, имаа право да обврзат стариот. Ама му рече полисмано, не можете врзиме, срамота да те носиме ни селото врзан, ако имаме орде да те врзиме. Го зедава, тамо го занекува на општината, полицијата, оттамо го зедава со друго карсо, го занекува во Коста, го затворо. Го затворија грците тамо и сега и го бија.
Ама зашто?
За тие што и најдое, во нивата. Оти тој му каза, ва нива чија е, не е моја, му вели, јас ја купи од Ристо.
Ама зашто да го затворат?
Го затворија зашто ти, чекај, на суду којде. Му вели, ти ја продаде нивата на Миле, јас ја продадов. Ами ти имаше кладено тамо тие патроните? Но, не знам. Од турците треба, знаеш, помно се попладна тако сега, оружија.
Ама зашто ги казаја? Зашто не си ја зеа, да си држат?
Не му требаше да ја држат. Не му требаше да ја држат тие, ти што ти преш, И
не струва пари?
Не остава, но Грко не остава да имаш таква работа пушка дома. Забрането во Македонија.
Патрони, та беше пари.
Патрони, не патрони се фишеци. Булет, боли. Боли, бу.
Јас не разбрав.
Не разбрав. И сега, и му велат ти ја кладе тамо. Не ја кладов јас, татко му вика. Колку деца имаш? 6. 4 машки и 2 чупи. Затоа ја кладе ти тамо ја криеше, че каже да дојде време, да организираш, една чета ти со твоите деца ќе организираш. И да земиш Македонија точно од Грција да му даш на Бугарија. И стариот мој вистина заправо не сакаше ни Бугарија, нито Грција, нито Србија. Нито се мешаше во такви работи. И по казна паниши 3 години затвор. И после направиме апил по висок корт во Солу, се пресуди и само го свалија од 3 години на 1 година. Живи, дојде дома, живи година, мене ме зедаа војник, тој беше жив уште, отидов во Крета да се бие со германците таму и кога се врати стари имаше умрено. По година умре.
Това беше 1939.
1940 умре.
Oh.
1940 умре.
Пак се вратиме на селото. First of all, мисля, ти заборави еден брат.
Да, заборави братот и тој кога умре, он беше 20 години, компулсори војник го имаа звено, грците, и се поболи у Преспа, служеше војник, македонска Преспа, таму. И оттамо го донесат, го кладува Грко, знаеш, нема автомобил с таква работа немаше тога и го кладува на една мучка, муле, и го носат до Лерин на хаспитало. И по пато умре. И закопан во Лерин во гробишето таму и денес.
Кажи ми малко за селото. Колко кујки имаше таму и как describe them?
Okay. Селото се викаше Каленик. Долно, што го викаме, беа 3-4 куќи, фамилии, и еден бек, Сулейман Бек. И горното село се што беше Кални, што беа 100 фамилии тогај, они работаа за бего. А па тие имаше 4-5 фамилии, имаше зедено од моривото, од Република Македонија, таму е моривото денес. И да му работат, да му поможат, којнто да му пулят таму, некој телен работи, градините да му пулят бего. И после след некој дојда, после Балканската војна, кога изгуби Турција, и турците сакаа да бегат. И нашите тогај почнаа да купат ниви од турците и селото се наплоди. Имаме од Ошчима, од Трна, од Руля, од Колнолмати и од други села. И се наплоди, селото се направи 15 на фамилии, дојдоа нови. И 5, ако беа 20, и после некои 5, 25 се сторија. Дојдоа и Грција донесе маџири, викаме ние, од Турција, половина грци, половина турци. Едни не знаеа ич, Селимиди фамилијата, старите не знаеа грчка ич. Уго турски знаеа, ама христијани турци. И беше страно Турција да не и коли.
Маđари ги викаат тие христијани?
Ние викаме маđари, ние македонците му викаме маđири. Ние му викаме името маđири. И тие дојдоа сетне 22-3 куки и така горе-долу селото се направи 50 на фамилии куки. И сега толку е.
И твојата фарма, Нива, великата фарма?
Нива, that's right.
Беше таму со реката, беше most plentiful.
Oh yes, yeah. Многу богат земја има Калник. $2,000 денес и до $3,000 и е еден декар. Значи, еден ека канадејски е 4, 10-12 $12 канадејски да окупи денес. Многу скапо е.
На твојата куќа, цела твојата фамилија живеа и мајка ти, татко ти живеа на същата куќа или маја друга?
На същата куќа живееме сати заедно.
Имаше баба таму?
Баба и маме баба. Баба и маме живи баба, јас бе 15 години, ама обам беше на дело втора жена. Баба живеше со наска.
И дело?
Првата имаше делото. Делото умре на 19-та година и Константин се викаше. Јас се роди на 20-та и ме окладови мене на дело Константин името. И јас и во фамилијата четвртиот Константин. Во фамилијата.
So имаше две жени.
Едната умре, се жена за друга.
Ти.
А сати деца чупина што имаше керки дедо, бе од првата жена, втората немаше малки.
И sad ti živete na...
Sad i na jedno živeme, dok dođe vreme, razberaš, jedan brat, kad se stoриме 12-13, jedan brat той ще отиде партизан, той се дели себе. И почнаме да се делим, почна войната, втората война и не можеме. И така се делим, избегаме в Австралия, в Канада, во Југославија,
Ама мајка ти готвеше за целите деца?
Мајка готвеше, се женаја по-старите браќа сете, имаме 2 невести дома и тие сете мајка, знаеш. Помалу, мајка беше троа срца и се караше многу со невестите. Оти углаваа многу масло на бобо, you know? И мама не сакаше да му каже да бери за децата. Потреба да клаате, потреба масло. Боб, да речеме, тие невести сакат да земат, да речеме 1 кило боб да оклаа, да се вари за 10-12 души. Добро? И мама сакаше потреба да клаате за да има и утре. И да земи дюкчето, нели, имаме споре, соба, што викаме, имаме споре таму, зима да се топли водата и таму вари тенџерето со бобо. И мама земио дюкчето, вода што има топла, тури го наполни од тенџерото друго горе. Викај тие младите невести, оти турваш. Како да не турва, вели, и за вечер да има да јадете, да има многу.
Золници и такви нешто праете?
О, се правеше. Мама се правеше. Ама мама и правеше по-рудски. Тие крајчето, виеното што е на крај на Зелнико, го правеше 3 инчи, 4 инчи високо. Да има многу да јадат децата. А па имаме што зедете големи брат една за жена од Дреновени, она и правеше да ти мераш да јадеш, убаво да јадеш, да можеш да јадеш.
Прстите да се изедеш.
Дрозни, ма не, слаби, разбереш, убаво да јадеш. А мама сакаше и караше да не правите така. Правите зијави, големи да има да јадат децата. Таквите работи.
Сега, ако одеш, кажи за holidays таму, кои имате за Коледа, за Easter.
Holiday. Holidays правиме празници што ве неменија. Сега, секој имен ден, роден ден не служиме. А имен ден служиме. На кој му е и сакаш да се береме имен ден, 10-15 дојме, колку имена има, да речиме, на Божи Христо. Колку Христо имам 5, тие сакаш да се погодат јадење, пиење, мезина, тамо, разбераш, раки, вина, и да му оиме тамо ние сати да спиеме и да му благословиме за името. И сетен правиме Велик ден 3 дена, празник, Божи 3 дена празнувавме.
Как Божи, как го празнувате?
Божи го празнуваме у среде село со свирки. Свирки, значи музика. И па ние беше малечко село, не можеме да кладеме свирки големи, да платиме многу пари. Па еден музичен бев јас, еден брачко од Австралија отиде тој, и уште едно, ние двата, јас мандолино, он вајолин и оро скока жените. Анgelina има скокано, па ние не сакаме многу пари да му свиреме, ни беше мака. Дојди они и викај, ево оди. А имаше еден Ило, со грбето беше, Ило грбето му викаме, не беше, тој беше постар 21-30 години, он свиреше гајда и кавал. Па ако не одевме ние, они чупина се градува до Чиче-Ило, што е? Ајде да не свири да играме, тоа не беше правилно. Ма многу весело беше на него време. Дури до 36-та година беше весело.
И што се стори 36-та?
И што се стори сетте? Грко дојде тој диктатор Метакса, забрана празниците наши, што имаше македонски празник. По старо служевме забрана, и викаше вургари на сати. Полицијата ја пушваше да не служиме и сет да играме Коледа по наша забрана, а бабари што правиме, бабари, разбереш?
Не.
Не знаеш бабари?
Што е тоа?
Бабари се славјаните кои дојдоа од север, како поминаа Дунав. Кои дојдоа. И Питер Сталин го знаеш? Тој беше сојтар, тој лидерот беше кој играше, бабари кој играше. I veli vaca, vidi, samo znam 2-3 lafoje od babari. Vidi. Domakine, na kućata ropat, i berat, raki, vina, pari, se. I ke prat kako svadna utre. I domakine, otvori domakino i ti je zborvat. Od kaj ste? Od sever. Ne pojil beja 10-20, koliko beja sobrani igrat. So koži oblečeni kako studente, stari, znaš, oblečeni. I, dobro večer. Sati na Dunav go capavme, a nikoj ne se istopi. Разбираш što je vedno?
Yes.
Po poljanski. Go capare kada Dunav koliko je 2 km.
Kaži to po angliski
You know? We crossed the Danube River, all of us, from north to south, but nobody get wet. How they cross, I don't know. This is story, history, the whole tradition from 1,000 years almost. You know, it's a state, like Herodotus write, or Homer. You didn't see nothing, Herodotus. Just ask the other people. What do you know about 100 years? And Herodotus right, and Homer right. The same thing. This is happening. I remember only those words. Sati Dunav go capав me, a nito jedan od nas ne se istopio. You mean?
He didn't melt.
He didn't get the clothes doesn't get wet from the water. Țapam in Macedonia is walking in the water.
Yeah.
Okay, they walk in the water, but nobody can wet. You know, history.
Yeah.
And then that history, Metax and the dictator put a law. You are Bulgarian Slavs. You know, you're not going to play or celebrate that anymore. And that's finished.
Let's go back to the time when the Greek government took over.
Yes.
You went to school first, well, it was under Greek.
Yes.
You had no choice because it was by that time Greek, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about...
Okay. When the Greek, I learned from my brother, the older brother was in the army in Asia. You know, the Greco-Turkish War, it's 1920, 23. And when the Greeks occupied Macedonia, well, like I say, what the people say, you know, the people used to live not bad, was not so hard against our people, the Greek, you know, government. And the people, we sing in Macedonian, we dance Macedonian, you know. Nobody speak Greek in the villages. Whole Florina town, that time was about 7,000-8,000. No words in Florina can hear Greek, only the police. Everybody, 99% Macedonians speak in the Florina, in the Lerinsko city. And this was continued, even was a law. If somebody says us, like, you know, a policeman, say you are Bulgars, Bulgarian or so, Macedonian young people, you know, beat the policeman.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And the court said, why you beat the policeman? You know, well, he told me Bulgarian. We don't want it to be Bulgarian. We don't want to be a Greek either. And the court dismissed the case. You had no right to say it to that guy Bulgarian. But 1936 vote, election in Greece, win that Metaxa, his name, a dictator. And he forbid the language Macedonian, the traditions, any celebration, everything. So that time, Macedonian, zip and the mouth. No more, finish.
What about the people who couldn't speak Greek, like the older people?
Oh yeah, my mother, all kind. My mother didn't speak Greek, not at all. And others. He ordered night schools, all of them, 70, 80, even 90 years old. They had to go to school, to learn read. Everybody, after we finished 3:30, 4 o'clock, the kids, and 1936, my mother, everybody used to go to high school to learn reading, because you have to learn reading. Yes, oh yeah. That guy, before the dictator came, Metaxa, our people was living free. Only one thing was missing, because the Greek government didn't recognize us as Macedonian, but didn't bother us. You speak with the police, with anybody, even the king come in the village, you talk to him like in Macedonia, nobody say nothing. It was free democracy, but after that, they get, the Greeks against our people.
And this was all Metaxa?
Metaxas, yes. Metaxa. Before I got no complaint. Only we get mad because...
now when did you get called into the war? When did you first become a soldier?
I became a soldier in April 1941. And
can you tell us the events leading up to that?
Okay. We took the train, we went down in Peloponnese, they call it, the southern Greece, and it's happened, they separated me from the rest of the army, they pulled us, in the old capital of Greece, Nafplio.
You're saying us, what do you mean?
All the soldiers that time, us, was so many there, was Macedonian, all the army.
But first, before you became a soldier, tell us that period leading up from the war. The war started in 1938, 39?
40.
In Greece? I thought it was earlier.
With Albanian, with the Italian, 1940.
Well, that's when the first started.
That 28 October.
1940.
28th of October.
And that was first with the Italians, was it?
With the Italians, yes. With the Italians start, and all the army went, to the Albania front. Okay. And all winter, the Italian couldn't break the Greek line, And it's happy, it was frozen over there, like stay. The Italian couldn't move south, or the Greeks couldn't go north, And then in April 41, as Hitler came with his aeroplane, with his army, with his Fashamiegos is mean in German, the parachuters, run, like, And that time it's happened by prescription. They sent me to Crete, the Mediterranean Greek island, over there, and we stay 1 month soldiers. Here's the German came over there too, with a parachute. We fight 10 days in the front with the German. Finally, the west front, the German broke it, they landed in the capital of the island, Chania, and then we got ordered from our army, to surrender to the German. We surrendered to the German, and then the German took us prisoner. I stayed prisoner there almost 1 year.
In a German prison?
In a German prison, but it was in the Greek territory of Crete, over there. And they didn't let us go home. Finally, 4 guys, Macedonian, from the camp, prison camp, we escaped. All the 4 was Macedonian, from our villages. And then we went to the Greek police there. We explained this and this, Well, the guy said, what to do? The guy said, we got ordered to give you back, to surrender you to the German again. Oh no, we said, no. Okay, the guy helped us, the police, give us like paper over there. My name is Constantine, he made my name Constantine,
Oh.
you know, of their names, like, you know, because the Cretans got a different names than the Greeks, the last names. And they changed that one, and he helped us. He put us, I don't know how he done it, in a German boat, and we landed in Athens, in the port of Athens. And from over there,
What year was this?
this was 1941 no, 42 in January or February or something like this. 42.
It was cold and snow.
Cold was, you know, cold. And then we came in Athens, nothing. We had nothing. Nothing. Just the clothing. They give us civil clothing, like, you know, over there, the police. But we had nothing. In Athens, people were dying on the street there. Help. Nobody helped. No bread, no nothing. One loaf of bread, 5 million drachmas, you know. And finally, I used to be in Athens 3 months before when I was 15 years old. And I know a lady there, you know. And her address still, you know. I went, she was from Drenoveni, married a Greek guy, you know. And she lived there, you know. And she was cousin to my brother's wife, you know. And I went there. I said, she recognized me because when I was 15 years I was there. She said, you are Costa Tisi Tuka Nasha Grozda. Ja, si, taka I taka mówię. Ma 4 stay here. She had a little farm down in Peloponnes, in Tripoli. And she had some beans and so on. We stayed there 1 week. And I talked to the other guys, I said, let's go to the Greek army offices, you know. I said, no army. Greeks got no army. Where's the people there? No army? Oh yes, is somebody in the army in the office? One man maybe, officer, Greek. We knock the door, you know, and I said, like this. Okay, what do you want? Yes, boys. I said, this and this and this and this, explain. We're prisoners, we escaped from the prison and this and this and this happened. Where you are from? From Florina. Nothing. Sorry, I said, can you take us back to the army? What else we can say? He said, I'm sorry, we have no army. The German occupied our country, we have no army, we have nothing. But we can help you to go home. How? We're going to give you 400 drachmas for each one and go down the train station. The train doesn't go because it's cut bridges, but it's a trucks there goes from Athens to Kozani, a Macedonian town. And you get truck there with charcoal, no gas, with charcoal. They turn to charcoal with trucks. It takes us about 2 days and 600 kilometers, 2 days and 1 night, the truck. We went to the Kozani, and then from Kozani we walk. The Florina is about 60, 70 kilometers. We walk.
And this was 1942.
1942, you know, yeah. This is.
So you got home all right. And who
Got
did you?
home all right.
Who was home in your house at that time?
In the house when I came home was everybody home except my father was dying. Dead was my father. You know, he get so depressed, you know, from the jail and so on. You know, and that's it. Yeah.
And then when did you meet your wife? How did you? Tell us some of the social things that happened in the village then first.
Finally. My wife, she's like younger, you know, but I don't know, maybe I was smarter than her, you know, because the villages, they get married, you know, 2 years different, not more. But she's almost 7 years of me younger. And then, you know, I don't want to get married. I want to go to Australia or here, unmarried. But from the war, you know, all my friends, they get married. And even they had 1 child or 2, that's nothing. Okay, and I said to myself, I'm going to marry too. And finally, they're here, you know. She was a nice girl, nice looking and smart and this and everything, like, you know. And we became in love with each other. And then, I can say, Macedonian pesna, Mesecina, Roy Poda de Zaide, we used to be together somewhere. We never go home, you know. You know. And then we get married.
What kind of courtship did you do? I mean, where did you go these nights and?
No, we would go outside in the yard. Couple times in Florina, in the yard, sit somewhere in the Slamata, Gora, and the hay, like, you know. Hey, tamo, tak, blah, 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 all night, you know, play in the back, you know, youngsters, you know. That's all. We'll learn them a couple times, you know, pa ko беше млади, ko беа деца, овие беа 12-13 години, 15-16, кои доми го лере. И тие изедоме со нас. И со друг брачен, кој доме на шото и за некоме све, перфект. Тие нема да на шото никој пат. Синема. Okay. И тамо се женаме сетне, знаеш што ти реку, кога беше на, не помним екзакти, кога се женаме на 43, I think. You know, I think 43.
Well, we're going to bring in your wife here, and then she'll fill us in on all the other things.
She remember more, you know.
Yeah. So now we're going to meet your lovely wife.
Yeah.
Okay, сега имаме Angelina. Кажи ја, Angelina, дека се роди ти, кога се роди и малку за твоето село?
Добро вечер, Вирджинија. Јас сум родена во село Долно Каленик на годината 26-та, 1926, 18 януари. Родителите ми се Пандо Флоров од село Желево. Тој беше син на Петре Флоров. А мајка ми од Руля. Родителите му се Доне Саров. Преселени се мојот дедо.
Преселени, што е какво це?
Од Желево дојдени во, се мувани од Желево во Каленик. Мојот дедо, на татко ми и татко му, со нејниот брат и нејниот брачев, имае голема мака од гракоманите во Желево. Кога дојде Грција и гракоманите многу се тепаја со нашите таму. Едните македонци, бугари, другите грци.
На кој години?
Во Желево. Татко ми беше 6 години кога до некој во Каленик. Значи беше 12-та со 13-та година или 14-та. Тие години се дојдени. И не паметам толку, тога се преселени во Каленик. Мојот предедо многу го тепае гракоманите и кога дојде во Каленик, кога се мувае во Каленик, ич не ставаше, толку што беше биен. И од тоа умре. На дедо ми, татко му. Мојот татко беше 6 годишен кога до некој во Каленик.
И твојот grandfather, he was beaten so badly that he...
Yes, he was lying in bed for years and years and years.
So he was an invalid.
That's it. And that was the reason што се муваа од Желево што дојдоа во Каленик.
And tell us something about your village.
The village was a small village when I was born, and when I was a young kid, like my husband said, maybe 20-25 Macedonians, and the rest were Magiri. And we were going to school, the children mixed with the Magiri and the Macedonians. But like he said, we never had any fights between us because we the Macedonians were very peaceful people. We always obey like what they were saying, the Greeks and the Magiri there, we always follow, like we're followers, more like
Yes,
instead of leaders. So when I finished the public school, like, you know, and I was around 12 years old, 12 or 13, and I was very, I wanted to do very handwork, to crochet, to knit, to embroidery, and like all the young girls.
And did you go to high school or anything, or did you finish public school?
No high school for us, especially for girls. Girls, they say they have to stay in the house and work.
So what did your family do? What kind of work?
Farming.
You had a farm there too?
My father came here to Canada when I was two and a half years old.
Oh.
He left us there with my mother, my grandpa and grandma. I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather. But mother, she was working in the field all the time. That's what I remember her, a lady bent up in the earth and she's working in the field.
And when she came home, she did all the cooking?
Grandma was doing everything and I was helping. I was feeding the little piggies and the chickens. I swept the yard.
What kind of, do you remember what you grew on your farm?
Well, some wheat, corn, that's the kind of thing.
How big of a farm was yours?
My grandpa, he's got, how many pogone treba imаше швете на пол?
80, 90, something like this.
Yeah.
Dekas.
Dekas.
Stremaš over Grko.
Yeah.
Dekar in Macedonia. 10 dekar, 1 hectare.
So you tell us a little bit about the churches and things that were in your village.
When I remember I was a little girl, the church was built in our village. When I was very young, we used to go to the other village which is called Gorno Kalenik.
That's your husband's village?
Very young. My mom was taking me there with some other, with my aunt and other ladies with the children to the next village.
To the church?
To the next church in the other village. But when our church was built, I remember my father, I was a little girl, he was going from village to village, and he was gathering everything he can, like wheat, corn, clothing, and everything, more like a bazaar, they say here. And they were selling that stuff, they were making money, so to help to build the church. I remember very well, I can see him bringing some clothes that we have here, like from Kleshchina, from all the villages. Yeah.
But you went to a Greek school?
Yes.
Okay, well, I wanted to just go back to when you went to school. You went to Greek school, of course. The language in your village, did you speak Macedonian there, or what did you
Not
speak?
in the school. Not in the school.
So just in the school you spoke Greek?
In the house, with our kids, rest of the children, when we play in the village, we speak Macedonian. But in the school, we speak Greek.
And when you were getting the church built and everything, the priests?
The priest was Greek. But the rest of the villages, they were Magiri and Macedonians. Some of them, very few, they speak, very few, maybe 2 or 3 people, the whole village, they speak Greek. My husband's father, my grandfather, he speaks a little bit, and another person. The rest, all Macedonian.
And the Magiri, what language did they speak?
They speak half a Greek.
Half a Greek, but sort of funny Greek. Funny.
Have a Turkish.
Mixed with Turkish.
I see.
Mixed with Turkish.
Yeah.
And they were Christian?
Christians, yes. We were going to the same school, to the same church. My grandmother, she never speak not even one word. Regardless, they had to go night school. You know, my grandmother, she learned how to say, the Greek call it the eggs, avga, and grandmother used to say, avga. So that's the only word she learned how to speak Greek.
When you finished public school, what kind of work did you do in the house?
When I was getting older, like 13 or 14, I was going with my mother at the field in the farm. I was working and playing most of the time with the other girls. And
what kind of games did you play?
Games we played, and I'll start from Christmas. In Christmas time, everybody's getting, like the fathers, they were going to the town in Florina. They were buying small gifts for the children, you know. And but my father was here, unfortunately. My grandfather, he used to buy a few things for me, you know. He was good to me, Grandpa was very good to me, you know, and Grandma too. And another holiday was called Bodici. We celebrate Bodici. I don't know how to
Светиците.
Svetnici na makedonski. Svetnici. We used to gather the girls and make a popcorn. And that popcorn was put in a string.
Oh, yeah.
And make it like a necklace. And a big bouquet of basil, you know, and put the popcorn all around on those bouquets. And we was going to church. And the priest was having a big pot of blasted water. And he was taking out this bouquets with the popcorn, dip it in the water, and he used to make cross in our heads. And he was blessing us to be good girls.
What time of year was this?
Sorry?
What time of year was this?
A couple of weeks after Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah.
and what's it called again?
Christmas, New Year's,
No, no, no.
and
the-
Svetnici.
the
Svetnici in Macedonia, they call it. You know, they selling the
So this would have been in January.
in January, yes. And then around when the Easter comes, 6 weeks, we fast, posti, they are members now. And whoever has relatives, they take the young girls on holidays, like we call it naposedok. They dress in nicely, they come from one village to the other, they dress nicely, they put the clothes that they have to wear during the week when they stay there in a nice fancy bag. And whoever takes them, they put it in a nice paterica, like a cane, all with the fringes and stuff like that bag, and carrying the girl walks behind and the men at the front with the clothes and everything. They go into the other village on holidays. That was during the 6 weeks of fasting before Easter. So I didn't have nowhere to go because my father was one in the family. He had no brothers and sisters, and I was the only one, and I used to cry to Grandma, Grandma, I like to go, jaska sakam da oda naposedok, jaska sakam da oda naposedok. And my grandmother used to cry, what can we do? We have no place to go. So, and another old lady, they were relatives, she was our neighbor, and she used to call me, come on over here, don't cry. You and I will go in, I'll take you. And she was telling me some kind of jokes and dirty words, and she was going to take me. And I didn't know those words, they were dirty, and I used to run to my grandma, Baba, is it taking me down to see? Волко дай, спири, волко дай, магарина дай, скоце, що ти имели такви думи неарни да им учиш, ти нема да ја одиш, ке си сеш туа дома со баба, нема да ја одиш на поселок.
What kind of clothes did you wear then?
I was wearing, when I used to go to school, wearing most like here, that kind. But before I got married, I wanted to wear the clothes the people they wear in the village. And there was the old clothes like they wear vezani košuli, gurdi. When I met this nice gentleman here, he didn't want that kind of clothes. He said he going to wear the clothes that my family wears. So okay, he didn't want them. So I sold some of the clothes and I changed myself to the different, to the clothes.
Modern.
Yeah.
But while you were going to school and as a teenager, most of the clothes were, as you could say, modern?
To school?
Modern.
No, we wear clothes, dresses, like here.
Yellow
dresses,
one kind of
and
uniform in the school.
Yeah.
All
Oh, they all had uniforms.
like,
Yes.
like uniforms, you know.
all the children, I mean the females.
Yeah. They were like a dress with the 2 pockets and a bow on the back.
Did you like it?
Nice, nice. Young people, I mean, when you're a young kid, they buy you something new, you're happy.
How did you meet your husband?
How I met my husband, I was young and Celia, yes. My husband, he had a nice bicycle. I was looking at the bike. I didn't look at him. So I had a cousin. He was living from the village of my mother. He was a nephew, my mother's nephew, my uncle's son. So he said to me, you know, I think Costa likes you. So if he likes me, I said, no, but I don't like him. Oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, I know. I said, he's got a nice bike, but I don't know if he's nice. So eventually, we start talking to each other, and he said, what about marrying me? I said, no, I'm too young. Oh, it's okay, you're going to grow and this and that. So what about, he said, if you come with me, we're going to Salonika and we get married there. You come, oh, no. I said, my grandpa and grandma are going to cry here, and your people, your family to be happy, and mine, just the 3 people I have, my grandpa, grandma, to cry.
How about your father, promise? Here.
So,
Father was
yeah,
here.
1 second. So I said, okay, I said, I'm going to marry you, but I want you to take me to Canada to see my father, because I never knew who's my father and how he looks and where he is, and I don't know nothing about him. So he said, okay, if you marry me, I'll send you to see your father. And also I said, I want a new house. If you build a nice house, I'll marry you. Okay, he said, but okay, he said, I'll build a little house for you, which he did. We started to build it, and it's unfinished. It's still in the village.
Why was it unfinished?
Because we moved here,
because of the
Just a
troubles,
shell now.
of the troubles we had. He went in the army. He was in 3 years in prison.
He took me back in the army.
Just a minute, Costa. And he was in prison for 3 years.
After you got married?
After we got married. 1 year before we got married, and 3 years after we got married, and my boy was born. 2 years old was when he went in the prison. Excuse me. And that little house, we started to build in it into just a shell, like, you know. So when he came back. As soon as he came back, 2 weeks later, they took him back again.
Why?
So we left the house. We left the house, unfinished and everything. His sister was here in the United States, came 1 year before us. So he said, instead of going back and forth to the prison, he said, you take your family and come over here. And at the same time, he promised me to see my father, and that was a good opportunity for us. And also the Greeks, they didn't want us. When we came here, they scratched us completely. Like we have no rights to go back. Not only me and my husband, even my child was only 6 years old. You know, so that's why we came here in Canada. And the house is not finished, and the whole village, everybody's gone, and the houses, they're all like a ghost town.
Not even the Greeks living there?
The Greeks, they left before us, because the Greeks, the Magiri, they didn't want to work on farm, because they were used to live in, or they came from very, very, like in the city.
But it seems like such a wonderful place there, very beautiful land.
Land
what's happening there? Is it,
but they wanted to live in the towns and in the cities.
is it just bare land now?
No, they live in the towns, in the cities, and they pay for somebody works in the farm, they pay the tractors and everything. And they go for holiday, summertime, 1 month, they collect the money, everything, they sell the produce, and back again in the city. That's what they were doing now.
And then
your father, why did he leave? Well, you were only 2 years. You were 2 years old when he left.
2.5 years old. Yes, my father, my grandpa was here, and he was working for CPR. My grandfather, and he really liked it here. He liked it, my grandfather, and he asked my grandma to come here because my father was 2 years old. And grandma says, "Oh no, I'm not coming. There's no Macedonians there. I'm not coming. So if you want to stay, stay. I'm not coming. I'm not going to send the boy there." So my grandpa came back again, and he always was telling, Canada is a nice, you should see how they dress nice, the ladies with their hats and feathers, and men walking on knives. When they skated, he was so amazed how they can walk on knives, for the skating. And he wanted my father to come here and make some money, and bring the money back so they can build a big house. My father came here, was only 20 or 21 years old. When he came, my father was very nice looking. When he came here, he forgot all about my mother, all about mother and father and me, and he got married, or he got another wife here, and he forgot all about us. So when I came here, my father, he's got his wife in his house, but he still came to see us, and I found from other people, when I found that he's got another wife without sending my mother nothing, either get married or send the girl here or do this or that, And I was very disappointed.
He didn't send money or anything?
Nothing,
Ever?
nothing. I don't remember nothing from my father. But when I came here, so my father, he's got cousins. They call him, so they invite us. I had my boy with me, my husband and everything. We went to the people's house there, and they were gathered around 20, 30 people from our village and relatives. So they say, can you recognize your father? You know, the people here. So I was looking around, I recognized my father.
You did, eh?
I said, that guy there.
And
From the home picture.
From the pictures. So he helped us a little bit here. He paid the rent for a couple of months for us. He bought a few things like a furniture bed and stove and something like that, you know. He was good to my boy. And me, I can say, you know, but I didn't like the idea that he didn't send nothing back home. And he didn't say nothing to my mother or take me. He should have brought me over, you know.
But what did he give any explanation?
He said, I'm sorry, you and your grandmother pay the price. Especially he apologized to me many, many times. Whatever I asked my father, if I asked him for something, he always gave it to me, you know, after. When I came here, it was very good for clothes or money or this and that. But he felt kind of guilty, I can say, you know. But still, like I was, because we were here, he felt not very free from us. And he said, if I give you $3,000, he said to me, so you can go back. And take your husband and your child and go back. I said, to go back where? Back home. He said, you got your grandpa's property, your husband's got a big property, so you can go there and have a good living. I said, Father, I explained everything. How many times my husband been in jail? He said, that family, they were in troubles all the time. You should marry another guy instead of him. He said, it's your fault. He said, so you're going to suffer with him. Is he
still alive?
No. My father died when he was only 52 years old. He died of a heart attack. So,
how long ago was that?
35 years now since he's dead.
And you've been here? You've been here?
We came in 1951, and the father died in 1960.
I see.
He came 1928, he came here.
1928 he came.
Your father to Canada, immigrated to Canada.
Yeah, 1928. I hear it, not that good.
So you came here, you made your mind up to come. But first of all, I just want to, before we go into coming here, I want to get back to why you were in prison and why you were taken as a soldier again. Did they conscript you, or did they come and get you? Tell us the events leading up to you getting into the army again.
You know, ти казах по-върху, що бе войники го крити, що германци са битни. Седне, после, когато стори войната, во войната, Second World War, ние беме со партизаните. Един брат мой излезе партизан от селото, 3 излево е, за първите трите от 11, трите бе партизани ще излево е против германците и италианите от Каленик. Бе 11. 7 пушки имая, другите нема пушки. Я удрия полицията по 2 недели, взела пушките, гръцката полиция, таа му и даде пушките, гръцката полиция. You know? И сетне разбрах, кога се достори войната, погнай германците, 25 август 1945 беше, prescription open, ме взела войни гръците.
This was now for the Civil War? Or...
No, before. The Civil War was not started. The Civil War started 1946-7, okay? 1945. Взела, моята версия взела, 41 класа, що сме ние, и 40-та, и 42-та. Войни копе гърците, okay? They взела by prescription, you know, kako vi kažete po englesku?
Conscription.
Conscription. I me zanakova сега во Сесали. Оттаму во Сесали ме кренаја, ме занакова во Асенс. Во Асенс таму godina gore-dolu.
But what were you doing in the army? Yeah, they were
Army,
occupied.
exercise, army. They praveme exercise for war, you know, as Bulgaria attack us, you know, kill either Bulgarian or another German or Italy, you know, the army. What for is the army?
Because they were occupied by the Germans at this point, were they
No,
not?
the German is gone now. The countries are free. After the Second World War, I said.
Yeah.
Oh, after the...
After the Second World War, this
Okay,
happened,
that's-
1945. The German left Greece 44 in fall, you know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then in Thessaly, in Larissa and Trikala, tamo služe 30 cities, you know. Tamo služe vojnik. Otamo me krenaеме за некој ме односија во Атен. Па од Атен, седов една година таму во Атен, па ме донекоја назад во Thessaly. Vojnik. I od tamo седов и бев беклаваја да чувам за генерал да очувам тамо на вратата со пушката.
Guard.
Помилвате, пред мене треба да дупнат, тоа се кушумо. Ама ме поминаја за лош човек мене, за комунист, за све што сакаш. И не врзаја така, не врзаја, не пикнаја во 300 души од армијата. Ние беме некој 5-6 хиляди армија таму, од 6300 не одбрае. И во Long Island, Macronis.
Macronis, se kaže. Macronis.
Macronis is mean Greek language, Long Island.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's about 30 kilometers south from Athens, you know, in the Aegean Sea. И таму за некој не затворие, prisoners, од армија пушките ни зела. И таму сега, што да ми сакаш, камењи да носиш од планината, да фрлаш у морето, да не мачат, вие комунисти, вие такви, ако беше некој наш македонец, ако се знае што беше македонец, што мене може не ме знае, no, anyway, за да ти рад вулгарос, ти си таков, ти си ваков, лош. You know? Сега не само нас да не мачеја, тамо имаше 40.000 војна, prisoners, од војна што взела, што зборе таму, а тие беа, ние бевме некој 2-3-5% бевме македонци, другите беа цели грци, грците. И таму седов јас almost 3 years.
But why did they take you as prisoner in the first place?
They took me prisoners because the guerrillas started the civil war, almost was ready. They took us because we didn't want the king. We don't want the royal family.
Looks like
We
they were
like
praying for overthrow.
democracy. We was against the government because the government brought the royal family there.
Well, Metaxas, did he...
Metaxas is finished. Metaxas is dead during the war.
But,
Now it's no Metaxas now after the Second World War. You
well,
know?
was the king still there when Metaxas was prime minister?
No, Metaxas is dead.
No, but was there still a king
Yes.
during Metaxas's time?
Yes, during
Okay.
Metaxas' time was a king, but he was the prime minister, Metaxas.
Yes, okay.
You know, but Metaxas died in 1940. 1940. I'm saying now when the German left the country, you know, 1945, 1946, 1947, 1948. I was in the Long Island there, prisoner, you know, and they was asking us all the time to change our minds,
From what? Change your mind?
to sign. Откажвам фамилијата, откажвам партијата комунистка, откажвам тоа. Ма ти му велиш, не сум комунист јаска. Не беа тие комунисти, нито знаеше наше
So
народ.
that prison was supposed to be for the communists?
All kind.
All kinds of
Комунист,
things.
Bulgari, што сега што е против државата него мајка.
Petition that I denounce everything.
Тие што има симпатизира за партизаните, Марко беше партизан тоа Civil War, Марко беше general, you know, in the Democratic Army on the mountain. Anybody sympathize the Democratic Army, partisan like, you know, over there, 40,000. And finally, like, you know, they didn't give us food. I was under the German 1 year, I had a better food. Over there, 38 kilos. From 48, 50 kilos, I was that time young fella, it came to 38, 37. Nothing. Potatoes. One big potatoes in the big pot, boiled them, little salt over, and even the potatoes was not washed. Because they don't want to wash the potatoes. No, the pigs will eat them, you know. And it was killing us. The Greeks was killing Greeks. And one day was happened. They put the machine guns in the morning on 7,000 prisoners who was under camps, like, you know, Shatori Mechadari, for 16 on each. Nighttime, they went on the east side with some brushes there, you know. They hide nighttime there, the army, you know, the fascists we used to call them. And when came 9 o'clock, all the Greek war flota, you know,
Boats,
you know, they came in the front of us, they surround the island, and they call them Greek soldiers, separate from those little small number communists in the so-so place. What small number communists? What was that? The time 10 o'clock in the morning. Separate. Where to go? 10 o'clock in the morning when it came, when they put the machine guns, well, thanks God they didn't put all of them. Maybe one or two was shooting inside, you know, us, you know, and you hear over there, you know, in the camps, crying, oh, Greeks, you know, Macedonian Greeks, all kind, crying. In about 25 minutes, maybe more, and stop. 300 dead after. This is secret, you know, we learn. And 700 more wounded. And the dead, the Red Cross was behind, just like bag of potatoes, two guys grabbing right in the truck.
In the Red Cross trucks?
Red Cross trucks.
But didn't the Red Cross...
In Greece, you don't know such a thing, Red Cross in Greece.
Well, where did the Red Cross trucks come from then?
The Greek Red Cross trucks. All kind of trucks, you know. But the Red Cross, I saw one Red Cross was. Maybe the Red Cross truck was just for fun, was another truck. And they had already dig up the graves, and all of them in one and two graves. No mama, even the dead didn't see them.
So the atrocities were...
And then I stayed there, you know, for 3 years.
In the prison?
In those in the exile in the island prison. And then 49, yeah, 49, finally they let me go home, you know. They took me out, you know. And I came home that time. I spent 3 years over there and 1 year in the German prison 4. This is, we came home. After we came home, you know, start again with the guerrillas.
2 weeks they stay home. In 2 weeks' time, they took him back again.
They took me back again. Yeah, in 2 weeks.
They keep him 1 week in a
bar. In the jail, or?
In jail, and they put me in jail. And then, when
when they released you?
When they released me, I went home, okay? Okay, finally I went to my family there, you know, I was working, you know. And in 2-3 weeks, the police came, arrest me again.
For what reason did they say?
Nothing, no reason. Greeks is no reason. Just they say like this, they point you, get that guy and put him. No reason, no court, no nothing in Greece those days. Now maybe yes, but those days no. No such a things, you know. They put me in jail. Finally, the guy of the police, he was very good guy. He said to me, I'm not going to send you back. All I'm going to do, I'm not going to send you back to prison or to exile. They arrest us 12 of the village. Everybody will go, not you. And exactly happened.
Why did he?
I don't know. The guy, you know, the chief, he was from Korzeny. Maybe he was in Macedonia. Maybe he was a left-wing like me, you know. He said, "Gus, don't worry. You're not going again." And he came from the prison, he took me out.
Well,
Yeah. And then I make my mind, better go from this country.
It was very hard for us to live there.
Very hard. If I stay there,
Missed our place.
oh, they will kill
We
me.
missed our country, I mean our birthplace. We missed everything.
Oh, we had a nice life over there, very poor, but not rich like here. but
Wonderful, like happy life. Maybe we were not rich, but we were very happy.
The village is on a level, you know, just like Toronto.
okay. Now tell us your preparation to come here. How you prepared to come? Money, papers.
I'll say that.
You said it.
Okay, I'll say that. Preparations, we got like we stay after my husband was released from jail, even the second time.
This was 1949,
49, yes, 49.
49.
We stay 1 year. He stayed 1 year in the village, and when he came back, and he said it was like starting all over again because there was no men in the family, only ladies. In nighttime we used to hide. Nighttime we used to hide from the guerrillas, daytime from the police, the Greek police. And regardless, we had good properties and a big farm.
When you say guerrillas, are they the Partizani?
Partizani, yeah, Partizani.
Partizanite.
Well, the Partizani
Се
were...
криеме ношета, да не вземат сони. Because
Greek,
they buy.
Macedonian, Partizan all together.
Yeah.
But they were...
Civil War, Civil
Yes,
War
I
in
know.
Greece.
And after that, we decide, just because he was taken back and forth to jail, and we said, okay, there is no life here for us. We should go to Canada or to United States or to Australia. So I said, you promised me that to see my father, we're going to Canada. So we work 1 year, we plant some big
Potato field.
field, the whole field of
And
potatoes
tobacco field.
and tobacco field, and we had a great big orchard, apple orchards. We sold the apples and the tobacco and the potatoes, and we made the money. We paid for our
2.5 tickets.
for the ticket, and for my grandpa, he helped us some money. He gave us some money,
He gave
and we came here. My father-in-law's sister took us.
So when you were making it, you got your money, did you have... What kind of agents did you have to go through?
By myself.
No, we didn't
You
get
just,
any.
you just
No
went...
agent.
You got...
No agent, because when I served in Athens for the 1 year, I asked how is able to go, if somebody like you know to go outside of the country. They explained me, you're going to get from the village, like you know, certificate, birth certificate, you know, from the metropolis, from the court, you don't know anything, money to the government, so, and I got all those papers together. I sent them to the internal, in Greece, like you know, ministry, and I asked for passport. They gave me the passport, and I took the passport.
I was glad to see us leave.
They was glad to see us. And I got the passport, and then we got the money, about $1,500 was all together. We brought here $500, but less than 1,000 cost us the tickets,
For the three of
fares.
you.
And we pay the boat, the agent will pay, like you know, but he didn't do nothing for us. Because when I came, I paid for the three of us, I paid for the boat, for bunk beds, like you know, tourists. I pay about $800. Friends of mine was Macedonian, they pay only for themselves $700 money. I put for three, $800, they for one.
How come
Because
you think?
those Asian crooks, Greeks,
Oh.
crooks, they didn't know how to say. They charged them for all the papers and so, you know, they didn't know how to go get the
I
papers,
see.
the others. You know, that's the Greeks.
No, our people is they were scared to ask.
They were
They
scared.
were scared to walk in the office. Even if they go in the office, nobody will ask them what you want, and they're not going to serve you like here. You have to go 10, 15 times for the same thing. I know when he was in the army, even in jail, when he was in jail, all the rest of the ladies from the village, their husbands, which they were not in jail there, they are getting some kind of little pension, a little bit of, they call it misto, like a little bit of money, you know. Nothing, the government didn't give me nothing because he was in the army and they put him to jail. So I complained so many times why I'm not getting it. He went to the army. You put him in jail. Why not? So in the end they give me few drachmas.
The Greeks didn't like me to stay over there.
Over
myself,
where?
Because
Where?
I'm open in the village. Because I was revolutionary against the Greeks all the time. I call myself Macedonia. They say, you call yourself Greek Macedonian. No. Even in the army and everything. I went to court, 32 days, martial court. But the court in Athens, you know, they sue me in the court. Honest. I told them. I said, look it, I'm not Greek. I'm Macedonian descent. You know? If you kill me, because they blame me with other friends, I can overthrow the Athenian government, I can sit, or me or others, friend of mine, form new government, communist. I say, even if you kill me, I'm still patriot, because I am patriot against, I like more the Greeks than the German or Italian, you see, even today, they are, I don't know. That time I was young, you know, and I told them, and they quit. They dismissed the case. They say, this guy, like, I don't know. The friend of mine from the Volemy, 10 years in jail. From Boof, Lame Serbinov, 10 years to get the same, you know. And that's the reason.
Because
and another thing, when I was in the army in Thessaly, I came home for a week, for 7 days, you know, отпуска. Си дойдох дома от селото и аз вместо 7 дена седох 9 дена дома, појке. Байла, 7 дена ми дадува, и аз 2 појке седох. Па знам, кога се врата во бригадата, нема да ме панише, мала работа, зашто тоа, ова. И ојду тамо да озијам трокшето во Лерин, на војската, ја видове, зашто вели се забај 2 дена не си ојде на бригадата? Ова шо? What's the difference? Ке ме панише тамо. И го вики еден тамо, вели, земи го, вели, затвори го. Ме зене да ме затвори, кој да ме затвори, Френшо бе ме наскојто заедно. И тој одеме да ме носи, не знам, да ме носеше, вели, да не си за лошо, војник јаска, и тој војник. Вели, ако си на страшно, вели, бегај, вели. Ќе може ми побегна. Но нема ништо. И тамо ќе ме затвори, тамо, тој, кога ме затвори, клуч нема. Како тој човек, ни то војската чуе, во војската треба да ме затвори. А ме затвори во една сокршено едно кошара тамо. И клуч нема, тој ме вели, Ламбро го вика, Гердев. И, зашто тука така вели затвори, тебе тој клуч нема, и тука нема ни војска, ни то ништо, ти војник требаш во војска да те пуши, затвори. И ние тамо тука седи. И седо тамо цела вечер, ти ме затвори тамо за да побегна, во Југославија, близо границата. Другиот ден дојде друг, Грк дојде. Дојде, пули, клуч нема, Грко. Вели, тебе тука затвори, тука му вела. Ре, ти си будала, вели, зашто затвори тука, шо знам, вела? Не будеш клуч нема, вели, ти затвори за да бегаш. За да бегаш, за тоа затвори, вели, Грко. И ојду се те назад, ме занесе опе на тој, на мајоро тамо, Грко. И Грко ми посака паладжа и вели, направи ме грешка. Грчка работа.
Anyway, we better move on. Let's now get, you are ready to come here. What was the name of your ship and when did you dock in Toronto?
The name of the ship was Argentina, Italian ship. And it was the last trip was making when we came. And then They put it on the side.
Oh.
And we arrived in Halifax. It was September, I think September for sure, but I think it was either 18 or 21st of September.
21st.
1951.
1951. And who met you?
And then we came by train from Halifax to Toronto here. And here, when we came in the station here, we was looking for somebody to come and pick us. Nobody was there. And we had not only our child, and I was also bringing another little kid, 3 years old, to Vasa Evans' sister-in-law, which she was bringing the child, was from a first cousin, because she didn't have a child here. She was adopting the child.
Oh.
So that child was my first cousin's little kid. So I brought it with us. So finally, we saw Vasa nice dressed up and everything, and here we come. Still baby.
But did Vasa meet you at the station?
Yes.
Yes, she's my first cousin.
But my husband's cousin, they made the papers for us to come over, and he was walking up and down. I said, Costa, kam se gleda mene, to je braćete Kole. I didn't even, from the picture. Oh yeah, that type of person I am, I'm not shy. I said, I'm going to go and ask him. He said, oh yeah, you see a man and run after him. He said, vidi neko imaš, ispušči se da jo pitvaš. And here I go, hey, sir, znaš po grčkim, Kirije, Signomi, vi ste Kole Mišo? Ja. O, Costa, evo, to je tuka. Eto kao najdu, ja kaj Kole. To je što ne nosi. Ko ste vi? A meni jeste što ne nosiš od stari kraj. Što dremite bre, veli, drva nedelkani? Što čekate, veli? I was so scared. I was so upset. They say, oh, come on, welcome, dobrodošli. He said, drva nedelkani. What are we going to do here? So, deka se drugite, ja i tamo, što dremite bre, veli, mrvite. Here comes Vasa. Oh, vije se ljudito, vije se rodninite naši što dojdu od stari kraj. Vije se. Okay, here they go, and Jean Evans, I said, this is the little girl. The little girl started crying because she didn't know none of them, you know. When she started screaming and crying, and she was so attached to Costa because the whole 15 or 16 days of the boat that were coming, something like that, she was with Costa all the time, and I was sick of the boat. I stayed in bed, I never moved. The two of them, they were running, my son and that little girl, in the boat.
What was this little girl's name?
Stoyna.
That's what I thought.
Stoyna, yeah. And they got it. So here, and then we went to Teta's house. We stayed there 2 weeks. And after 2-3 weeks, my father rented the place. Zoya Misha. And he rented the place for us. And we went to the flat on Rajas Road and Old Western Road. We stayed there for 5-6 months. And then my husband started washing the dishes. And we were lucky. A year and a half after we had our daughter, and there was another.
Well, did you stayed in this place, and then what did you do? You rented, and then what did you buy your own house, or did you move to another place? Who did you live with?
We rent a house, and then we rent a little flat, you know. And then my husband was working on days, and I started working on nights.
What did you do?
In the beginning, I was working. My uncle, he's got a laundry.
Your uncle, what's his name?
Louis George.
Oh, yeah.
Ilo Wojnowski. He's got a laundry, and I was helping there, folding the apron, folding the sheets, and folding the coats from the hospitals and stuff like that, you know. And then I started working in a restaurant. But I really wanted to be a hairdresser. This guy, he won't let me. So he said, no, you have to learn to work in the restaurant, and you have to learn how to speak English. And I'm not going to forget the day when I first went in the restaurant, and I did speak not even one English word. And I was crying from that little house that we got to the restaurant. Was a Macedonian guy. And I went there and I started crying and crying. What am I going to do? I don't even know one word. How am I going to serve these people here? Or they want a coffee or tea or this? So finally I started working there, and little bit by little I started, I was getting used to. And there were two young people, both of them, they were teachers. They were married couple. And they used to tell me how the bread cow, how the milk and the salt and the pepper and jam and marmalade. To me was marmalade. The jam and marmalade, I called all of them marmalade. So he said, no, this is the jam, and this is the marmalade, this is brown bread, and this is the white bread. They were telling me, they were putting it on the paper. And then in close to 1 year, and I started getting the
Did you go to English school at all?
I went on first, my father, he registered us as soon as we came in a couple of months, but I didn't understand nothing. So the teacher, because he started taking them very fast, and the teacher took me from the front, he put me on the back. Because I didn't understand nothing, not even one word.
No, we went to school maybe for 2 weeks, two or 3
weeks, you know. But
we didn't continue. You know why we didn't continue?
Why?
Because it was only night school.
And you had to work.
That time. In night school I had to work because
He
no
was
job
working
was.
on nights,
This
and
is
I
the
didn't.
trouble.
So Costa, tell us about your first jobs.
Okay, my first jobs, I worked for Bill Kleshov. My friend Stalin is from my village, Stalin. You know Stalin? Peter Elias.
Yes.
He died in the old age home a couple of years ago. And he gave me a job over there, Bill Kleshov. You know Bill Kleshov? Okay. And then he put me to work over there 5 days. I worked 5 days. I start Tuesday. And Saturday, Kleshov came and gave me money. He said to me, Gus, take this money. He walked out of the kitchen, so wash the dishes, and I count him $17. Finally, the business is over. I was over lunchtime, and then he came back again. I said, Bill, in Macedonia I was talking, what this money for? Your pay. Pay? $17 I say for 5 days? He said, that's all. So you can get it. I fired the dishwasher, was a Greek, just to put you, to do you a favor. $17. I said, I used to make in my village, $25, $30 in my village. I didn't came to Canada, and I got the apron, you know, and it was big stomach. I said, take it. So what are you doing? Quit? I'm quit. Just finish the dishes and then I quit. No. I quit. And then I had no job. Father-in-law, he said, come to me. He put me over there. He paid me $35. Oh, it's not bad. $35. I worked about 8 months in Bassers, 1201 Bassers Street, Peter's Lodge. I worked 8 months, and finally, after 8 months, was a factory next door. They was making stockings and all kinds of jewel boxes and so on. And I asked a guy there, was a Romanov, Ukrainian guy. I said, used to speak very little English. I said in Macedonian, hey, Romanov, я очень работа там. What? Работа? He said, you know, работа я. But you work here, he said, you know. Tu imaš работа. No, сакам там, колко бъде той вели $50 ќе правиш. А $50 ќе правим на неделя? No, и той ме зеде там. Ме зеде там, ме кладе на една машина да работаш. Сега, ти даваше 10 или 15 или 12 layer of material и да ти ръкое 3000 парчина да посечи машината, да акордисаш. Колко пъти ќе акордисаш да утри? For me it was easy, you know, да делиш. И 3000 за 11 толкова. Ама и прави по-гръчки. Ние гръците отдолу и правим, вие отгора. И ти ме пуле там, му вели, this guy doesn't know nothing. Абе, чекай, му вели, той Романов, украинцо, му вели. He's doing the Greek way, му вели, направите и вие как ли направим. Same thing. Ние да дойде работа там, работа 1 година и нещо. От там немаше работа, ми да дойде Леяв. Айде си Леяв работа за евреин 1 година. От там работа една година и нещо за правим ресторан на окото Еглинтон, за Луица Фаров.
As a waiter?
За waiter. Waiter съм се направил. И оттам работа 5 години. На 6-та години отвори ресторант, York Restaurant, still today exists, you know what is a tavern, на Кил и Еглинтон.
That was your restaurant?
Yes.
My restaurant was my wife. We opened brand new.
York restaurant.
York Restaurant, Kil and Eglington, still today is a tavern. And finally over there we work, we start standing on your feet. We buy a house, we buy this, we buy a car, we buy this, we buy everything. And this is after a father died, he left his small lunch and buses.
He's got a little restaurant too.
1201 buses. You know, little lunch only until 3 o'clock. From 6:30, 7 in the morning to 3 o'clock. Saturday close, Sunday close. And then we sold that one, mine.
For a couple of years you keep them both.
You know, for a couple of years, and then
My husband
we
was
couldn't
working
keep
on
both,
one
you know.
house.
And then we made lots of money on the sale and sold. And we bought some property or we sold those, my restaurant, you know. And we stayed there, just was making living from that one. And 1976, I sold that was in 76. Mazala, the Albanians say, no more work. This is my
So
life.
you've been retired since
Retires in self-retires in 1976.
Okay, now I want to know about your social life here in Toronto. Who are you associated with? What kind of social events?
Social life, I'm hunter. Okay?
You're what?
Used to be hunter. Hunter, ловач.
Hunting, yes.
Со пушката. По зайци, по мечки, со мусои, от 10-15 години, со Alec Evan, so Knuckle Farm, Steve, so Costa, all the big shot. Just I was a small one. You know, there was a hunter. In still today, hunting. Sept, social life, there was правомяска, нещо.
With the church, with our church we were involved, very much involved.
The church
That's what I want you
почна,
to start telling me about now.
The church почнаме да правиме, да се организираме, забравяй годините, you know. I think it was
60.
1960, you know, 60 or 61, okay, 61 it was, you know. И ми каза Коста овоме заедно, ама јас не може да ода, се собрае во отело. Формира управа, you know, формира управа, и во управата ме кладови мене. Ме кладови мене во управата и тие решие таму направие, све што направи, влегоме во управата. Во управата и сега бериме пари, правиме, почваме да правиме чорт во Желево хал на Уестон и Синклер.
That hall was there though.
Service was there. Желевција имаа ние да дојде фри. И таму градее 70-80 во црква градее во недела. Таму имаше многу наши народ. И таму правиме хал таму и почнеме да бериме пари. Почнеме да бериме пари и колку може да шти, тоа. И собраме $83,000 од народот.
This was what year?
This was 1962, 61, 62. You know, собраме толку пари ние и се држиме на банката. И јас кажеме таксано $1,500. И Angie моја, па, немаме многу пари, ние крема раката, окей, $500 од мене.
Let her tell that.
Ja, и, окей, $500 писата, $500 од Angie Constantine.
I was so excited.
И јас ка се налути, нито ме опита, нито ништо, и сега дај ми $500, you know, не му давам. No, јас ја кажа, не му давам. Не му давам, you know, и таа шо направи сега, you know, оди, кажи, поќе достори да кажеш до финишан, јас, кажи му.
Сесто кога се добраме таму да бере за црквата пари, и јас како цели даве, па никоја жена не стала да даде, ама јас ка немам трпение. И јас ка толку што се изражува, толку ексајде што се стори што ќе се направи друга црква, што неке е грцка, неке е бугарска, неке е српска, ваќе е само македонска. И јас ка скокна на маста. Викам, 500,000 от мен. Си дойде дома. Ко ме забрави? И майка дома стара. И той, що стукаш така, вели? Ти защо таксваш без да се опиташ? Деки имаш тия пари, Коста ке ми даде. Като е поя, ке ти даде Коста. Коста даде, вели, ти не трябваше да ставаш да даваш. И аз им слушано от деда и от баба, оти на църквата, що ке таксаш? Да замарила, трябва да отдавиш. Вика, Господ ке те паниша, ако ми даде. Що ке правим сега, аз ка, що правим? Имаме ресторан. Помини lunchtime визито. Ставам next day, вземам вестнико, пуля, alterationist, се бара, на Рубиновс, Bathres, Anna Queen and Bathres. But was Ann Queen. И аз ка вестнико подмишка и мода на пещората. Мистер Рубинов мога да сакате alterationist.
Sales lady.
Аха, sales lady, вели. Я, вели, път ние не сакаме експирион, вели. Трошче да знае, because не ни трябва толкова големи работи да прави ка. Because днес не толкова бизи, то тие продавае плячки за мажи, за причинка, за жени. Па аз трошче ми гледаше таквото. Аз саке повече да се науча да продавам и ми беше на ума сега да застана днес такъв на ресторант, да си направим мой бизнес, да имам плячки да продавам или нещо. Работа тамо, аз си собра тие парите шо и такса. От ресторана, там одех да работам. И собра тия парите и му и давам на църквата. And I felt so happy. И ушче това правам, само си подавам по тръндилка, колко ще ми се може. Колко ще ми се може, колко ще имам.
И оттам сега почнаме да събраме.
Много ми е
И сега место ке найме. Ще събраме бе. Базел беше, двата бе, базеловци, други цели бе, найс бе, цели се лайкаме. А Спиро Базел не беше мембер, а комунист. А Павле и другите беа мембери. Той набор се реши. Ама и той